Look north, past the tree line, past the civilization you know. You are standing on the edge of the world, where the land is locked in perpetual ice. This is the realm of the permafrost. Here, the ground is eternally frozen, and life is a constant, brutal negotiation with the cold. For thousands of years, the peoples of the Arctic and Siberia, the Inuit, the Chukchi, the Nenets had no science, no comfort, and no margin for error. They only had their stories. Their mythology was not a leisure activity. It was a manual for survival. A map to navigate the most hostile environment on Earth. Welcome to Permafrost Tales. On this channel, we dig into the stories the great empires forgot, the legends preserved and frozen deep within the oldest ice. You know the gods of the Greeks, the warriors of the Norse. But do you know the deities born of endless darkness and brutal famine? The myths we explore here are different. They do not speak of heroic conquests. They speak of obedience, of fear, and of the price of warmth. In this cold world, everything is animated. The wind is a temperamental spirit. The whale is a gift, not a resource. And the only diplomat between the starving humans and the angry cosmos is the Ungokik, the shaman. This holy man or woman is the master of ecstasy. They are the only ones capable of descending into the terrifying underworld, of challenging the spirits, and of begging the gods for mercy. Without the shaman's terrifying journey, the hunt fails. The people starve. The world ends. The stories we are about to tell are the very map the shaman follows. And our journey begins with the entity who holds all the life of the sea in her mutilated hands. The tragedy of Sedna is the foundation of Inuit life. Before she was a goddess, she was a beautiful but stubborn human woman. She lived near the ocean, but she refused all the worthy men who sought her hand. Sedna finally chose a suitor who promised a soft fuzz and endless luxury. But this suitor was a liar. He was a bird spirit, or an Ungokik disguised as a handsome man. He brought her to a desolate island, where he shed his human disguise, leaving her trapped in a cold, lonely hut. She was rescued by her father, who, pitying his daughter, sailed across the icy sea to bring her home. They sailed away from the treacherous spirit, believing they were safe. They were not. The bird spirit chased their small boat, conjuring a monstrous storm. The wind howled and the waves threatened to swallow them whole. In sheer terror, Sedna's father made a terrible choice. To save himself, to appease the furious spirit, he pushed his own daughter overboard. Sedna was strong. She fought the freezing water and desperately clung to the sides of the kayak. The father, terrified that her weight would sink them all, grabbed his knife. He sliced her fingers, one by one. As her flesh, muscle, and bone fell into the frigid depths, they did not simply sink. They transformed. Sedna's mutilated fingers became the first seals, the first whales, and the first fish. She was stripped of her humanity, but she inherited the power of creation. She sank to the bottom of the ocean, to a realm called Adlevin. She was now the goddess of the sea, the mother of all marine life. Sedna does not forget. She resides in her watery palace, and her rage is the greatest threat to humankind. The Inuit people live by strict taboos, rules of conduct, hunting and cleaning. When those rules are broken, human sin and carelessness travel to the bottom of the sea. This dirt knots her hair and clogs her hands. When Sedna is dirtied, she grows angry, and she holds the marine animals back from the hunters. The consequence, famine, death. Only the shaman can help. During his trance, he must descend to Adlevin, Bravely approach the terrifying goddess and gently comb her hair until she is clean and calm. Only then will she release her children, the animals, to the sea again. Sedna's story is not a fairy tale. It is a primal economic and moral instruction. While Sedna governs the sea and morality, the sky and the light are governed by trickery. The Inuit creation myth is dominated by Raven, not a god, but a cunning, hungry entity. In the time before the sun, a selfish old man kept the light, the stars, and the moon locked away in 3 nested boxes. Raven, wanting the light and the glory, tricked the man's daughter, transforming himself first into a speck of dirt, then into a baby in her womb. Born as a child, he cried and cried until the grandfather reluctantly gave him the boxes to play with. Raven grabbed the contents of the box, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and flew out of the smoke hole. He dropped them into the sky, giving humanity light, but trapping himself forever in the form of a blackbird. A story of chaos leading to cosmic order. East of the Inuit, among the Chukchi people of the far eastern Siberian tundra, the great power in the sky is Tugygyy-naut, the thunder god. While Sedna's power is in the vertical world down to the ocean floor, Tugygyy-naut rules the horizontal. He is often depicted in constant conflict with the evil spirits, the Qallupilluit, who bring sickness, disease, and misfortune. These Chukchi shamans understood that the world was a battleground. Their gods weren't aloof. They were actively fighting for the human race against overwhelming supernatural malice. Tugygyy-naut's thunder and lightning were the sounds of that tireless celestial war. What is the most important element for survival in the permafrost? Fire. The Yukaghir people, one of Siberia's oldest groups, have a dramatic origin myth for this life-giving warmth. Before humans had fire, it was held captive by an old spirit who lived alone. A brave ancestor journeyed to the spirit's hut and stole the fire. But the price of this theft was terrible. The spirit cursed the ancestor, forcing him to lose his human form and become a fire-giving animal, perhaps the Qallupilluit, the mighty wolverine. This tale emphasizes the cost of every comfort. Nothing is given freely in this landscape, where life-sustaining tools were paid for with sacrifice and loss. The Arctic darkness breeds monsters specific to the landscape, creatures that explain the tragedy of the hunt. Meet the Ijiraq. This shapeshifter is a master of camouflage. The Ijiraq does not kill immediately. Its purpose is to cause confusion. When a hunter is stalked by an Ijiraq, they begin to see familiar landmarks twisted or shifted. They walk in circles, unknowingly led far from home. If you are lucky enough to see one, you will know it by the eerie white patches of skin, or its backward-facing feet. If you are unlucky, you will never know what happened. You will simply be lost forever. The Ijiraq myth serves a crucial function. It is the narrative of getting lost in the vast, confusing tundra. While the Ijiraq hunts men, the Qallupilluit hunts children. This creature is said to dwell beneath the thin, cracking ice near the shoreline. She is described as having green or slimy skin, long dark hair, and she wears a giant amautic, the traditional Inuit parka used to carry infants on her back. But her amautic is empty. She waits for her children who wander too close to the ice edge, tempting them to disobey their parents. When she catches a child, she shoves them into her giant parka and carries them down beneath the ice, stealing their soul. This is more than a bogeyman. It's an essential lesson for life in the north. The ice is lethal, and disobedience means death. The Qallupilluit is the embodiment of the danger of the sea ice. Finally, we consider the tales of giants and large entities, the living myths of the untamed wilderness. Across the northern regions of Siberia, tales persist of the Chukchi, a massive, primitive hominid, the Siberian equivalent of the Yeti. These myths remind the local populations of their relative size and insignificance. Encountering these creatures, or the taunt, fierce, large beings of Inuit lore, is not necessarily about conflict, but about witnessing the sheer, indifferent power of nature. They're the living monuments to the fact that humans are only temporary visitors in this frozen world. What we have uncovered here are not just quaint fairy tales. They are the bedrock of entire cultures. When the world of the permafrost faced uncertainty, their myths provided structure. Sedna explained the famine. The raven explained the light. The Qallupilluit explained the danger of the water. These stories were their science, their lore, and their collective faith. They are a profound testament to human resilience, a demonstration of how powerful the narrative is when pitted against absolute destruction. And yet, we have barely scratched the surface. The permafrost is vast. It is deep. It holds secrets that have been preserved for thousands of years. What other primordial beings rest in the frozen tundra? What other moral codes govern the people who first walked this land? The knowledge is still out there, waiting for the right moment to surface. The permafrost is not just a landscape. It is the ultimate archive. If you feel the call of the wild, the mystery of the forgotten, and the power of the ancient world, then you belong here. Subscribe to Permafrost Tales to continue our journey. Next time, we leave the endless ice and sail into the deep blue mystery of oceanic mythology, uncovering the forgotten gods of navigation and the volcanic islands. You won't want to miss it. Let us know in the comments below, which Arctic spirit or deity did you find the most terrifying? We are building the archive together. Thank you for listening. And remember to stay warm.